We're here at the Pittsburgh Convention Center at the International Medical Cannabis Conference, and I'm here with UFC star Frank Shamrock. Frank, thanks for stopping by. And we were talking before this interview. I didn't know the story between you and Ken and how the difference, because Ken ended up being the WWF superstar and you stuck with UFC, but you guys are related only by being adopted.
Adoption,
Right.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we're not actually Shamrocks. We're both adopted by our group home dad, Bob Shamrock. We're both troubled youths. We both ended up in a group home. He was our group home dad, and he used martial arts and fitness and family lifestyle to turn kids around. So we ended up in his world, and he fell in love with us and adopted us.
Wow. And Frank, how did you guys start this whole UFC thing? Because you were there at the point where it just started to blow up. I mean, the Gracies,
very beginning.
Severn,
Yeah.
Shamrock.
Yeah, Ken was ahead of me. He was a generation before me, and in that he was in the first three, UFCs and first kind of events. And he came from professional wrestling, so he was doing UWFI and kind of learning the submission wrestling and the wrestling style in Japan. Yeah, because our first system was pancrase, and we came up under the Carl Gotch system of flow wrestling, catch as catch can wrestling. So he was coming from a world of shooting.
Oh yeah.
And pro wrestling when this world of fighting came along. So he just kind of was at the very beginning of that. And I was a young man. I was like 21 years old, 22 years old, and just totally watching it all in front of me, thinking everybody was crazy, thinking everybody was going to die, and just watching it all evolve.
And then you got involved in UFC.
Yeah. At the time, I was in pancrase. From 1994, I started training in martial arts, and then I was in the pancrase organization in Japan, where Ken started.
Okay.
And then he left to move to UFC, and then I eventually followed him. But he was my first teacher. He was my first trainer.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And he trained in Japan with the Japanese. And then I, to finish my training, flew to Japan and finished my training there as well. And then I fought my first 20, something matches in Japan before we ever came over to the United States.
And what did you accomplish in your UFC career?
Oh my gosh, well I won, I set 2 world records for fastest submission and fastest knockout. It was 14 seconds and 20 seconds.
Oh my
I
gosh.
was the first ever middleweight UFC champion. I was the first ever talent spokesman. I was the first ever sports broadcaster. I was the first ever league owner. And,
You're kidding me. Oh, wow.
No. And I'm the only athlete to, there's a bunch of them. I'm the only athlete to win every championship in every league, and I'm the only athlete in the history of recorded sports to win back-to-back championships in less than a minute. So that's something.
So the rivalry between the Gracies, the Severns, and the Shamrocks, that was huge, wasn't it?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, because we were at the beginning of martial arts and combative martial arts in America, and it was very much a developmental stage, where there was certain ideas, and those certain ideas were people and kind of their whole culture, and it was a fantastic time because I was very young and I could just watch it all develop, and so I could kind of decide what was good and what was bad. They were all stuck in their worlds, and I could kind of look at it from afar because I wasn't I wasn't anything. I was just a young guy.
Are you blown away with UFC is today?
Totally, yeah. I mean, I hoped it would be, and I always invested in that we would be here. You know what I mean? Because I believed that this would do this. But it's like cryptocurrency these days. It was like, everyone was like, yeah. The first 10 years, nobody wanted to hear it. I mean, nobody wanted. I'd come up with a suit, and they would just close and send me out. They were not into it. But society changed, socially, everything changed. In the last 20 years.
Okay, so let's go, Frank, to why you're here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm a social activist for cannabis. I've been a cannabis patient for 25 years or more.
Wow.
And all throughout my sports career, all throughout my post-retirement career, it's my medicine of choice. So I don't drink heavy. I don't take pharmaceutical drugs. Like I don't go to the doctor unless I'm sick, which never ever happens. And I'm a naturalist. I believe that all of our stuff comes from Mother Earth. And anything else is, unless you're dying, you don't need it, and you shouldn't pursue it. And I've seen, firsthand through fighting, the problem with addiction, with opiates, and I've seen firsthand through fighting and through sports, the problem with brain damage, problem with damage to your brain. And I'm a nerd, I'm a history buff, and
I'm very intelligent.
I call myself a scientist.
Yes, for sure.
So I've just done the research and I've done the science, and the science is, it's a neuroprotectant.
Right.
It's a better medicine.
Yes.
It's non-addictive, and it grows from this earth that we all live on.
Exactly.
Which tells me we should probably be supporting it, or at least learning as much as we can about it, and then sharing that information. Because
And
that's
see-
just logical and good human nature.
We're with UFC superstar Frank Shamrock on the Neil Haley Show, and I love it, Frank. And so this process, you were doing a talk here.
Panel,
Yeah, panel talk, and it was very, very interesting about what's coming up again with CTE. The concern I have is I'm a former pro wrestler, and I see a lot of my brothers, they ended up really, it's bad. And what makes it with the cannabis to help with CTE?
Well, cannabis is a proven neuroprotector. So it's literally proven to protect the brain cells in your head. And I met the neuroscientist who filed the patent who proved that that was possible. And that's the patent held on cannabis as a neuroprotectant. And I talked to him, and he was actually studying Agent Orange and the effects of Agent Orange on the brain.
Okay.
And in the midst of that, they threw in some cannabis, and it healed the brain cells. So he pursued that. He's not a cannabis guy, doesn't use it, not interested in it. He's a scientist. So the science says it heals your brain cells. And so my mentor father recently had a stroke.
Oh my.
And he is 100% against marijuana, cannabis, anything. He's from a generation that's against it. He's 73 years old. He's now taking cannabis oil for his brain.
Oh, wow.
Because his brain got hurt in the stroke.
Right.
And with combat sports, I pursued a professional boxing career. And after 6 months of training, of getting hit in the head, my lingual skills started to change.
Yeah.
And that's 6 months of focus. Imagine a career of combat sports.
Oh, it's crazy.
Brain. So the beauty of mixed martial arts, you can choose your game.
Yes. How much do you think?
Grappling.
How much damage do you think you got for UFC?
I don't think I was damaged very much because I can count the times on one hand that I got hit really hard, like in the head, in the brain. Because my whole style became, this is the machine.
I see.
Protect the machine.
Yeah.
Use the body to protect the machine.
Right. But you also had lots of pain from
A lot of
fighting.
pain, and I still have a lot of pain.
And then that's why you need it.
Yeah.
Instead of opioids, which are terrible.
Well, I watched so all my coaches, my brother, everybody before me, I had great examples because they went to the doctor with this extreme pain. The doctor gave them Vicodin and all these other, and then you can't sustain taking addictive drugs for any length of time.
You see,
because the first word is addictive. You'll just become an addict. So it's organic. So you have to change the model or find another way. And if you're in a sport where pain is a byproduct of the sport, and you want to stay for a term, you have to manage the pain.
Exactly.
And especially, I feel bad for the football guys.
Oh,
because
gosh.
I can move my head, I can protect my brain, I can not do the move that hurts my brain. But they have to.
So many times
That's their
compared
job.
to even pro
That's
wrestlers.
their role, and they're told, no, this is how you do it. Go get and they have no choice, and they have no, mechanism to protect their brain. Anybody in a combat sport that's damaging your brain should be automatically taking a mechanism to protect your brain. That's like wearing headgear or having common sense.
Makes sense. Where's the best place we can find info on you, Frank?
I am everywhere at Frank Shamrock or at frankshamrock.com, and that's where I hang out.
And you were talking about also speaking. You're doing speaking, motivational
speaking now professionally, and I'm doing a lot of speeches, both for corporate, for coaching, and then for charity and outreach.
Well, you're fantastic, Frank. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. You're listening and watching the Neil Haley Show, and we'll be back in just a moment.